Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360. We are live from the News Hub at Adisawe, Kanda. I'm Natalie Fort.
And my name is Alfredo Conce. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
Comptroller and Accountant General's Department suspends the August salaries of some 7,000 public sector workers.
President Akufo-Addo unveils free SHS logo as the program commences from September.
Also, anxiety grips some importers as paperless port transactions take off tomorrow, September 1.
And in business tonight, Ghana's bailout program with the International Monetary Fund extended. Bring you some reactions.
And on the international front, brother of Manchester bomber to be tried in Libya. We've got the details of these stories for you here on News 360, plus the very latest from the world of sports and entertainment, so stay with us. In our very first story this evening, 2 teacher unions have threatened to hit the streets if those found culpable of the $72 million SNIT deal are not prosecuted. The Ghana National Association of Teachers and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers also called for speedy investigations.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, expressed disappointment at SNIT deal. Although NAT agreed on the need to automate its operations, it expressed concern on the cost of the project. Most disturbing to NAT is the inadequate lump sum paid to pensioners by SNIT after 30 years of public service. Ahina Kwakwashi is the head of conditions of service at NAT.
Do you know how much they are paying this woman? The 25% lump sum pass credit. It's 2,004 cedis, 47 pesos.
For 30 years?
For 30 years work. How can you be callous like this? Do you want the woman to go and die? Somebody who had taught for 30 years and is suffering from the eye because of chalk, what is it? And then you give the woman 2,004 cedis. As lump sum, 25 lump sum.
He charged the board of SNIT to be swift with its investigations or risk a nationwide protest.
I mean, why do you use people's money like this? If it is genuine, I don't have a problem. But if they go through the audit and they realize that they have done the untoward, look, they should jail them. They should put them before the law courts. First of all, you should claim our money first. You should claim our money first before they jail them.
Vice President of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Enoka Brakwe Sante, is of the view investments made by SNIT have not benefited contributors.
As a unionist, I should see that my members contribute and they get something out of it. And that is the reason why we find ourselves wanting. We cry out because I contribute for 20 years, 30 years. The investment that you are making should have influence on my money.
He charged the board of SNIT to ensure that the lump sum of contributors are properly calculated to enhance their benefits.
So nice for us to see transparency in our system. If we do not see that, people will continue misusing, looting, etc. our funds. So if such have been seen, then there's the need, not 2 ways about it. Let them face the law squarely.
All right, the Finance Ministry has directed the teachers' validation team to clear the names of more than 65,000 teachers from payment within the next 3 months. The ministry again charged the team to present names of those who will so far have been validated every 2 weeks for prompt payment of their salary arrears.
The work of the validation team began in February 2016, but has still not been completed. As of December 2016, 117,200 604 standing figure of 53,618 to be worked on for payment. 42,343 have also been validated, but a few of them have received their salary arrears. Head of Conditions of Service at NAT, Ahina Kwakwashi, said the teachers are satisfied with the progress of work.
Ghana Education Service informed us that they had received additional forms of 35,862 fresh forms. Now they ran duplicates and got to know that the only genuine forms out of that 35,000 was 3,613.
He pleaded with its members nationwide to exercise restraint to get all process completed within 3 months.
What we are telling our members is that indeed we appreciate their patience. We will still ask them to remain calm and wait for the commencement of the exercise on the 11th. And we believe that once we finish with this exercise, it will also enable us to press on government to put a stop to this kind of policy or directive.
Leadership of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, CCT Ghana, also employed newly recruited teachers for 2015 to present their documents for prompt response.
Now, 2015 recruited teachers will make sure by 30th of September they've presented all their documents. Now, every 2 weeks, vouchers will be raised. After the validation, every 2 weeks, vouchers will be raised, and Controller and Accountant General will be instructed to pay. So hopefully, from October ending, we are hoping to start paying the rest of the arrears to the about 70,000 teachers.
It again gave an assurance to facilitate the correction of documents which have a duplication of staff ID numbers.
There are some too with management issues, which is about 21,000 of them. Now, when we say management issues, some of them, maybe they have the same staff ID. 2 people have the same staff ID. Some of them, their appointments were backdated. Maybe they started teaching in September 2010.
The free SHS program, President Akufo-Addo has officially launched the free senior high school policy, which becomes operational from Friday, September 1. A logo for the program has also been unveiled.
The free SHS policy of the NPP administration is aimed at building an educated populace for speedy national development and progress. President Akufo-Addo, at the short ceremony at the Flagstaff House, unveiled the logo for the program, which officially commences in 2 weeks. Minister of State in charge of tertiary education at the presidency, Professor Kwesi Yanka, explained the meaning of the logo.
The package comes with it qualitative instructional material, improvement in school infrastructure, as well as teacher motivation and capacity building for them. The open book stands for learning that is made accessible so others can share. Free education is the foundation for national development. It generates hope for future generations and enables students from diverse backgrounds to study towards transforming lives and uplifting their communities.
President Akufo-Addo called for support for the program.
There will be in any new initiative some wrinkles, some glitches. But if we understand that this is important, not because a political party has made it its mantra, and that the promise that it made is being fulfilled, but because it goes to the heart of what we need to do to get our country going. Our country is abundant with talents, with creativity, with people who have all kinds of contribution to make to the development of our society. What we need to do is to provide them the opportunity to express themselves. And if that opportunity is provided, I think very, very, very rapidly we'll see the transformation that all of us want to see in Ghana.
Let's still serve further with the president, because President Akufo-Addo has assured farmers of government's partnership to enhance productivity and job creation. He gave the assurance when the Farmers and Fishers Award Winners Association called on him at the Flagstaff House.
The Farmers and Fishers Award Winners Association was formed in 1997. The association comprises award winners and farmers who have distinguished themselves in their respective sectors of agriculture. The group was at the Flagstaff House to assure the president of working with government in rolling out its transformational agenda and accelerating agricultural growth.
We aim, among other things, to influence agriculture policies, foster market access, and leverage financial as well as technological opportunities to help Ghana not only achieve food sufficiency and security, but to also become an agro-industrial economy.
Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Usu Afriya-Koto, expressed government determination in rolling out effective policies geared toward improving the sector.
My ministry is ready to submit to Cabinet the plan for implementing the One Village, One Dam. We have what we call the low-hanging fruits, which are projects which were abandoned in the past that we could easily bring into action with minimal investment.
Minister for Fisheries Elizabeth Afole-Kwe outlined some measures to enhance the sector.
We are bringing the Ahuto oven for the fish processes. It reduces the presence of these polycyclic hydrocarbons, the chemicals within the fish. And so we can export the smoked fish now. We have suggested 500 Ahuto ovens, all over Ghana.
President Akufo-Addo promised government will collaborate with farmers to enhance productivity.
I, like you, believe 100% that the Asian model is a model for our country. And that is the export-led, agriculture-based, export-led industrialization model. And in order for that to succeed, what they did there, what we have to replicate here, is this constant interface between those of us making policy and those of you actually in the field. If that continues to be fertile, and there is that cross-fertilization between the policymakers and the operators, I think we are almost bound to succeed in whatever it is that we want to do.
Thank you very much.
For agricultural research continue to hamper agricultural productivity and general growth of the sector. The latest agricultural science and technology indicators has revealed that over 70% of the PhD qualified researchers employed at the council are over 50 years.
Agricultural research is critical to increasing productivity. High-quality, timely data has thus become of great essence. The Crop Research Institute, under the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, has been very instrumental in the development of new varieties of crops to promote agricultural productivity. However, the rate of attrition at the institute has been alarming due to poor conditions of service coupled with government embargo on employment.
We saw a lot of funding coming in also from the World Bank through the agricultural productivity programs, which also had a positive effect on the training of researchers in Ghanaian agricultural research.
A comprehensive overview of investment and human resource capacity in African agricultural research conducted by the CSIR and the International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI, from 2011 to 2014 indicates although government support to the institute remains enormous, it is only sufficient to cater for salary-related costs, with little remaining to support operational costs and capital investment. As a result, the institutes are to a large extent dependent on donors and development banks to meet the cost of research.
Agricultural research is important. New technologies are important for agricultural development, but also for economic development as well. So there needs to be more, maybe more awareness being created that the importance of investing in technologies.
At a stakeholders dissemination workshop in Accra, participants deliberated on enhancing the use of agricultural science and technology indicated ASTI data for analysis and policy influencing.
Relevance, timeliness and effectiveness of policies adopted by decision makers at all levels, and those decisions in turn hinge on the quality of the data upon which those decisions are made.
We are at a time when we need to re-engineer the agricultural system and let it make its rightful contribution to growth, economic growth, and social transformation.
Well, experts say the social mobilization and demand generation campaign, which offers children who could not be vaccinated in their first year of life to do so in the second year, would check preventable diseases and deaths in children. A campaign to start the project, Ghana's Second Year of Life project, has been launched here in Accra.
The project is to raise awareness of the free and effective health interventions available to all children in Ghana during their second year of life. It also draws the attention of the public, especially parents and caregivers, to the need to attend weighing sessions on time till age 5. The theme for the campaign is Go the Full Cycle, with the slogan From Start to Finish. Deputy Minister of Health Tina Mensah pledged government's continued support to the immunization program and called on all stakeholders to work together to ensure no child suffers from any preventable death.
Our children are our children, and to secure their future, we must ensure that they go the full cycle by embracing all the effective health interventions freely available to all children in Ghana from birth through to age 5. As a government, as leaders, as communities and as parents, it is our civic duty to ensure that the rights of our children, including their right to health, are upheld at all times.
Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Services, Dr. Gloria Sarikwansa, called on all to embrace the social mobilization campaign to ensure all children are vaccinated against preventable diseases.
We know that there are still children who are not vaccinated or under-vaccinated. The accumulation of these unvaccinated children can cause outbreaks of vaccine-preventable diseases. The social mobilization and demand generation kickoff campaign starting today should serve as a mark of the commitment of all and sundry to solving this problem.
Some key stakeholders also lauded the project.
We need to sing this message, we need to dance it, and we need to talk about it in all aspects of their community to ensure that we get all people to know about immunization and the benefit thereof that we have in the country.
We've now reached a stage where we have to do a lot. Now we have coverages up to about 95%, so the last few are difficult to get. But like I always say, no child walks to a clinic on his or her own. It takes a parent to carry the child. So we as Clinical must make sure every child of us is presented regularly for the weighing, and any vaccine the child is due, they are given.
The project, which aims to protect children in Ghana against all vaccine-preventable disease, is made possible by Global Health Security Agenda with support from the Center for Disease Control Prevention and other agencies.
Still live here on News 360. Welcome back to News 360. Time now for the business news. We start off with the fourth review of Ghana's extended credit facility with the IMF, which was concluded with an extension by more than 1 year. The review also saw the approval of $94.2 million disbursement.
The 3-year facility signed by the John Mahama administration in 2015 is expected to end in April 2018. A statement from the fund said the board approved Ghana's quest for waivers on non-observance of performance criteria and modification of one performance criterion and the extension of the arrangements by 1 year. It said as risks remain tilted to the downside, careful fiscal management will be required to achieve the 2017 program targets and reverse the unfavorable debt dynamics. It said additional efforts are needed to address revenue shortfalls, while expenditure control measures should be fully enforced to contain current spending and prevent the recurrence of domestic arrears. Professor Newman Kusi of the Institute of Fiscal Study is of the view that whether there is an extension or not, government's relationship with the IMF has to continue.
Some of our development partners always look at the relationship that the country has with the IMF and the other multilateral institutions, such as the African Development Bank and the World Bank, to determine the disbursement of the financial support. So, with or without a program, the interaction between the government or the country and the IMF will have to continue anyway.
Head of Finance at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfred Bokpin, said the extension is a logical outcome of where the country finds itself and is the right thing to do.
So all the targets in 2016 were missed, and we deteriorated in some indicators. So then the question was, the remaining 1 year, would it be sufficient for Ghana to correct whatever makes its weaknesses that have been created? The conclusion is simple. It's insufficient. So if Ghana wants to still go by the IMF program, then the logical thing to do and to ask for is extension.
The Extended Credit Facility Program aims to restore debt sustainability and macroeconomic stability in the country to foster a return to high growth and job creation while protecting social spending. Completion of the fourth ECF review, which enables the disbursement of about $94.2 million, brings total disbursements under the arrangement to about $565.2 million, with the remainder being tied to the remaining reviews.
In other news this evening, spare parts dealers at Abosokang in Accra have urged implementers of the paperless transaction to ensure a seamless process from September 1 when it takes off. The dealers pointed out the innovation would be needless if it does not remove delays and corruption, which increases the cost of doing business at the ports.
Spare parts dealers have often complained about delays, corruption and cumbersome procedures of clearing goods at the port. However, the implementation of the paperless transaction, many of these are expected to be phased out.
Because the system has not taken off, we wouldn't know, the challenges that they'll be facing. But when it takes off from 1st September, and as we are all aware, 1st September is also a holiday, so I think the whole operation or the whole process will start on Monday, which is the 4th. And when the process starts, the implementation starts, and then our people go there or our members go there and they face any challenges, I'm sure they will report back to us.
The agent call you and tell you that maybe your bill is almost maybe 100 or 1,000. You don't know what the agent is doing, so you just go and pay him because you don't understand what is going on.
Officials of the Ghana Shippers Authority, whose mandate it is to seek the interests of shippers and negotiate charges on their behalf, took the education to the doorsteps of the importers.
They have issues like how the networking, but we believe that yes, even though there will be down times, still the process will be better than before.
The spare parts dealers further complained about the slow pace of effort to remove some taxes promised by the government.
Meanwhile, several freight forwarders operating at the port are skeptical on the implementation of the project.
The 1st August to 12 midnight, the system was shut. But then there will be a mop-up until those that are in the pipeline goes. But if Saturday you pass your IDF, then it means you are coming to the new system to kick it and then you move on. Or Monday. So we are expecting that the whole work actually will begin seriously on Monday.
That was the acting commissioner of customs, George Crenstill, allaying the fears of freight forwarders who will play a critical role in the process. They, however, keep lamenting over possible mishaps which would affect their business.
You send your documents online, they look at it, and they post it back. The worry is the readiness the commitment. With this one coming in, where we are not going to see anybody to explain anything to anybody in case there's a problem, their readiness and their response is what we are requiring.
Others are of the view the paperless project is not new.
Paperless began when we decided to move from the SAT system or Asikuda system to the GCNet system. It is envisaged that electronically we should make our declaration through that platform without printing of paper. So if today we are being told that we should not go with paper anymore, it's good news.
Implementers of the project, GCNet and West Blues Consulting, spoke about the backup plan for the project.
This issue of downtime, sometimes, we have a lot of speculation. Oh, somebody is not there, it's because the system is down. These things are actually not true, so we monitor, and I think that last week or the week before, Customs actually came up and they said that when they did their reporting, 95+% of the time, the system is up.
A day before the implementation of the paperless on September 1, over 1,000 freight forwarders and clearing agents have been schooled on how to process their documents. Ghana is expected to join other ports in making clearance of goods easier for importers.
And that's it for the business news this evening. There's more business news on our website, 3news.com. Now, Alfred has some more for us on the suspension of the salaries of some public sector workers.
Absolutely, Natalie. And just so you know, you can be following Joseph Frimpong's Maritime and Ports reporter on the paperless, which begins tomorrow. We've been counting it down till this moment. But away from that, the Controller and Accountants General's Department has suspended the August salaries of some 7,000 workers on government mechanized payroll. The objective is intended to clean the payroll data and improve the efficiency of government's payroll management.
The suspension is in line with Regulation 297 of the Financial Administration Regulation 2004 LI 1802. Employees who had their salaries suspended failed to do the monthly validation of their salaries, which is a mandatory requirement for payment of salaries of employees on government payroll. Employees whose salaries have been suspended include validators who failed to validate their payrolls through the electronic salary payment voucher ESPV system in August, as well as employees whose salaries were not validated. Others include employees who were not verified during the ESVP validation process in August, as well as those with zero or irregular bank account details, and others with wrong or without numbers, no bank details, and same account numbers for different employees. Those whose salaries were suspended due to non-validation of salaries will be paid at the end of September 2017 on the condition that their heads of department validate them on the ESPV platform for September 2017. Employees declared unknown but not missing at their various places of work are required to submit reactivation letters signed by the heads of department to the Controller and Accountant General's Department Payroll Processing Division. Employees with zero or irregular bank account details and others with wrong or without numbers and employees sharing the same account numbers have been asked to submit their required information to the Payroll Processing Directorate of the Controller and Accountant General's Department for processing. Employees yet to go through the biometric registration exercise are expected to contact the Biometric Registration Center at the Ministry of Finance with the necessary documents for registration.
Now, one might ask the question on what basis the Controller and Accountant General's Department carried out or has carried out this move. And as per a statement issued by the department, it's in line with Regulation 297 of the Financial Administration Regulation of 2004 LI 1802. That's on the screens now, and I'm just going to run you by what it spells out. It says a deduction shall not be made from personal emoluments except for statutory deductions, disciplinary awards, and voluntary deductions authorized by the head of unit upon authority of administrative instructions issued by the head of department. That's specifically what this LI 1802 spells out. Now, this one might make the observation of the fact that the Regulation 297 does not speak directly to the recent action that has been carried out by the Controller and Accountant General's Department. And that's what led us to take a closer look at the entire Financial Administration Regulation, LI 1802. And in so doing, we found that Regulation 297 is followed by Regulation 298, which speaks a bit more directly to the issue at hand, being the suspension of the August salaries of these 7,000 workers of government's mechanized payroll, making it more contextually relevant. And so this might not directly speak to the current issue, but Alfred, Regulation 298 seems to speak more directly to that issue as per our findings.
Absolutely, Natalie. And that's why we're going to do this particular analysis, because the 297, as you did run us through, clearly paints a picture that does not fit into it. What you're going to see behind me right now, I'm going to run you through the Regulation 298(1)(a), and it states specifically, and I quote, "The head of a department shall cause the immediate stoppage of payment of salaries to public servant has A, as you can see, been absent from duty without leave or reasonable cause of a period as stipulated in the administrative regulations of the establishment. B, been absent from duty on leave without pay. C, been convicted of an offense involving theft or fraud or a sentence of imprisonment. Now, D, resigned. E, retired. Or F, died." And then the second, that's 2982, all other payments due to the public servant must also be stopped in the circumstances provided for in Sub-Regulation 1, where the Controller and Accountant General is actually notified. So that's the summary of the law, as you see right behind me now. Now, this stands to really question whether or not this is in a bit to clear the public payroll of the ghost names, which has always been the case. And there are people who are benefiting from the ghosts, because when salaries are paid, people, human beings, go to withdraw the money and not the ghosts. In another sense, it should have just been there for us to go see. But I want to understand a little bit more why this particular move to have 7,000 workers be denied of their salary for the month of August. Daniel Opoku is with Elizabeth Osei, who is the Director of Payroll at the Controller and Accountants General's Department. Daniel, if you can hear me, let's find out what exactly this move is all about.
Had some workshop with departmental heads of the various public sector and civil service. Now, basically, the discussions were to look at validation of public sector employees before they are paid. And then that sensitization workshop, Mr. Ofosuhene indicated that from April up to August, more than 5,000 names of employees were unknown, but all the same, some of them were missing. So for that reason, he gave a directive that the various heads of department should ensure that they will validate their workers before controller will be able to pay them. And he gave August as a deadline that all those who fail to validate their employees are not going to be paid. And as we speak, the Controller Accountant General has embarked on this directive. That's implemented a directive that about 7,000 names of public sector employees have not been paid or will not be paid this month of August. And Controller gave up to the end of September. That is, if only they have by then might have gone through the validation exercise. We are currently with Madam Mrs. Elizabeth Osei, who is the Director in charge of payroll at the Controller and Accountant General's Department. Madam, good evening.
Good evening.
My first question to you, the 7,000 names that you have suspended, where is the largest group coming from?
The largest numbers are coming from Ghana Education Service.
Meaning what?
Meaning that a lot of employees in the Ghana Education Service who were not validated have not been paid for the month of August.
Prior to that, were you able to engage the leadership of the Ghana Education Service before their names were suspended? Because most of the concerns that they raise, that most of them are in the deprived areas where getting access to network is a problem for them to embark on this validation or registration exercise.
Yes, as you rightly said, we engaged chief directors and heads of MDAs in all the civil service and in fact the public sector whose salaries are paid on the Controller and Accountant General's departments have been sensitized already on this, how do I call it, the directive. We've also spoken to the various public sector unions to, as it were, bring them, create the awareness that their employees stand not to be paid. In fact, this directive was going to be implemented in July, but because we engaged with the various unions and managements of the various institutions, they asked that we give them a little more time so that they could bring this to the notice of all their validators or their heads of departments, and we agreed to that. So everybody agreed that we would roll this particular directive out in August 2017, and we've done just that.
Wouldn't have controller found a more appropriate way in terms of giving them punishment rather than suspending their salaries?
See, it's not only about punishing, it's about the credibility of the payroll we are running at the Controller and Accountant General's department. It's a centralized system, and this is an intervention to make sure that we pay only deserving employees. So the ESPV system that has been ruled out is meant to ensure that every head of department is aware of who Controller and Accountant General is paying on their behalf. So that is why we are doing this. It's not to punish anybody, but it's to ensure that we ensure that everybody who is paid ought to be paid. And so if they are not validated, it's difficult for the Controller and Accountant General to establish if they exist, and whether their salaries are legitimate. So it's not about punishing, but it's about ensuring that there is no leakage in the government purse. We are protecting the government purse.
Now, linking that to gift mix, are we saying controller is getting a headway?
In fact, gift mix is making a lot of headway, not only in the payment of salaries, but also the financial management generally, as in disbursements at the MDA level. So it's not only about the Controller and Accountant General's salary payments, but generally about disbursements out of the GOG or out of the consolidated fund. It's becoming more and more credible.
Are you reaching the final stage in terms of gift mix, rolling out the gift mix?
Not final. Gift mix is still midway, I must say, but it's been rolled out to most MDAs. I'm not the best authority to speak on this, but then gift mix has been rolled out to most MDAs, and even to the extent that we've started deploying to MMDAs in the districts.
Thank you very much, Madam Mrs. Elizabeth Osei, who is in charge of payroll at the Controller and Accountant General's Department. My name is Daniel Opoko. Over to you in the studio.
Poko, they're right from the office of the Controller and Accountants General's Department to get more on this. It's interesting that the Ghana Education Service has their largest affected with this 7,000. We would follow it up to see the reactions from the various teacher unions and every other person who might be affected by this particular development. Back with some sports news here on News 360. Stay with us.
Hi, good evening. It's time to bring you all the latest in the world of sports. Today is going to be centered around the World Cup 2018 qualifying and transfer deadline day. We'll be bringing you up to date with all the major moves. But let's start off with some football that is currently ongoing on the African continent with some matches. But we'll start off with the Black Stars. They have been preparing for their crucial game against Congo on Friday as they seek qualification to the 2018 World Cup. They have been camping in Kumasi, and Michael Otieje is there and came through with this report that summarizes how ready the Black Stars are.
Black Stars training in what is really a charged atmosphere. Members of the Katanga Hall providing the background music while the players get ready for a crucial game. The game against Congo tomorrow has taken on a completely different meaning because earlier today, Egypt lost by a goal to 0 away in Uganda. It's a result that blows Group E wide open. It effectively means that from an initial deficit of 5, the Black Stars must now claw a deficit of 2 on Egypt if they win, that is, and of 3 on Uganda if they win. It all means nothing if the Black Stars are unable to collect the maximum 3 points. But the result in Kampala means that when everything seemed to be lost, there is now a glimmer of hope for the Black Stars. To be able to take that chance, Ghana will need to play in a manner similar to the way they did against Ethiopia when they beat them by 5 goals the last time they stepped out here. Also crucial for Apia, he will hope is that the team will be able to replicate the sort of form they showed in the 2014 qualifiers when they beat everybody who came to the Kumasi Sports Stadium. But Apia will have to do that without Rafael Jamina. He scored twice in 3 games. He's unavailable. Richmond Bwachi Adam has been called up as a replacement. Otherwise, the old horses are all available. The likes of Jordan Ayew, Andre Ayew, Asamoah Gyan, Christian Achu will be hoping to sell a massive performance and resurrect Ghana's World Cup hopes again.
All right, then. So now, meanwhile, Ghana's group just got blown wide open. Uganda did Ghana a big favor. The Cranes take the lead toward the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, scoring 1-0 against Egypt in the match held on Thursday. The win puts Uganda on top of Group E with 7 points, while Egypt slips to second spot with 6 points, which means should the Black Stars beat Congo in the next 2 games on our road, the road to Russia becomes a lot easier. Emmanuel Okwi's goal, that is when he scored that, decisively, just 6 minutes after the halftime mark to hand the Cranes an important win in the race to Russia 2018. It's a major and a first win for Uganda over Egypt since 1965. Ghana to meet Congo on Friday will, with hopes of reaching next year's Russia finals. All right, so this is the group in the 2018 World Cup qualifiers, and that's Group E. Uganda now sit top of this particular group with 7 points. Egypt follow with 6 points. Ghana have just 1 point, remember, after that the draw with Uganda in Tamale. And then there is Congo also there without a single point. So Ghana plays Congo later tomorrow at the Baba Yara Stadium. If we are able to get a win in this particular one, it definitely boosts our chances going forward. But well after the games on Wednesday, we move on, when it comes to some of these ones. Let's go straight to Asamoah Gyan, because now he's the captain of the Black Stars, remember, and he has, said or expressed his belief of the fact that Uganda's win helps Ghana on our road to qualifying, and also talks about the fact that Ghana should not be complacent against lowly Congo.
As I always say, we need to be winning all the games and then to make sure our World Cup dream is on course, because we cannot afford to lose points, and that is what we're looking at right now.
What idea do you guys have of the Congo team?
Very skillful team. Their team, if you allow them to play, they're gonna make sure that they take the pace. They are good in ball possession and stuff. So we're gonna make sure we avoid that. And then at the end of the day, everybody wants to win. So we just try our best to win tomorrow.
All right, so now let's go straight to the world of transfers, and we are going to be starting with Kylian Mbappe. Remember, this is the transfer deadline day, and it gets even very, very interesting from here, because Kylian Mbappe has sealed a loan move from AS Monaco to PSG. And that statement by PSG after confirming this particular deal is very interesting. They refuse to mention categorically that Kylian Mbappe has officially, signed a permanent deal, and they didn't also say that there's a mandatory, buyout, from that particular loan deal. They rather said there's an option to buy, and that means that they are free of the, financial fair play rules, because if they are to have confirmed that Kylian Mbappe had signed permanently for them, that means that they would have to be in trouble with FIFA fair play rules, so that they have escaped. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has chosen Liverpool ahead of Chelsea. Remember, there were reports earlier that he was to move to West London. That deal was off, meaning he was to join Merseyside club Liverpool, and that deal has also been confirmed. £35 million, it was confirmed. Now, Sergio Aurier has also completed a move earlier today from a French giant, PSG, to Tottenham Hotspur, and that deal really is a massive one. But let's move away from there. Let's go straight to another one. Fernando Llorente has also rejected Chelsea, so that's another transfer target by Antonio Conte that didn't work out today. He's also moved to Tottenham Hotspur. Renato Sanchez happens to be the most appealing of all the deals today because of his stature and the fact that he's moved to Swansea City, a mid-table club in England, all the way from one of the biggest giants in European football, Bayern Munich. And that's exactly how we bring an end to the Sports Bulletin. My name is Thea Winyan. Thanks for sticking with me.
Welcome back to News 360. Time now for some entertainment news. And the Musicians Union of Ghana is considering a charity concert to raise funds for needy musicians. The first vice president of the union, Bessa Simmons, gave the hint in an interview with TV3. Owusu Arai has the rest of the story.
TV3 reported on the deteriorating health condition of musician Joel Laka a few weeks ago. The Musicians Union of Ghana, the mother union of musicians, finds the veteran's condition saddening. Management of the union's Aging Musicians Welfare Fund have met over the issue and will lend a hand to Joel Laka.
I agree that his condition is quite worrying. It's worsened, and we have actually met on it. I think the Aging Musicians Welfare Fund committee called an emergency meeting, and I know that the committee are planning to visit him again.
Obwa, however, explained the fund's account is drained and might not be able to single-handedly meet all his needs.
As much as we want to help, our resources, or we are limited in a way, and so we call on other key individuals in society to also help.
He hinted Musica and the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, are currently working on introducing a pension policy to care for unforeseen challenges.
For us as a union, we are so interested in pushing a pension policy, which the union, together with GAMRO, have had several consultations, which we are hopeful that we will be rolling out this year. Because the music profession is such that you don't get paid any pension unless you voluntarily set up a pension scheme for yourself. And as a leader in the organization, this is a challenge that we've taken up our chest.
First Vice President of the Musicians Union of Ghana, Bessa Simons, suggested a charity concert to raise funds for needy musicians.
I think we should put a benefit concert to raise some funds. It's not only Juwalaka. We have other older musicians who are not well. So I am saying we are planning to put a benefit concert to raise funds to look after their medicals, and to support them.
Meanwhile, Musica has congratulated entertainment company Xylophone Media for their charitable initiatives and support for aging musicians. Samuel Atobiba is the head of communications at Xylophone Media.
I think I want to commend the TV3 Entertainment News Desk for that particular role they are playing in their departments. I believe you are also doing this to support other musical and...
the commendation is in good stride.
Absolutely,
because
it's very gratifying, and the whole entire team have done
all the
quite
team
a
on the
lot of
entertainment
work.
does good job. They've been consistent
Yeah.
on this. I think Musica has been long overdue. They should have done
results.
this long time
Absolutely.
ago, but it's better late than never. But thank you for staying with us here on News 360. On behalf of the rest of the team, my name is Alfred Akansi.
And I am Natalie Fort. We've got more news on our website, 3news.com, and news at 10 later this evening will simulcast on 3FM 92.7. Next is Tashan. Enjoy your evening.